Welcome back to the Movie A Day podcast, the one and only podcast that reviews a different film each and every day. My name is Grant, and I'm your host for this podcast. With me, as always, to dive into the world of cinema, we have Sky.
Hello.
And Ryan.
Why, hello.
So, here we are a day after the airing of Free Solo. After our 2-day break. And, our movie for this episode is Free Solo. Directed by Jimmy Chin and Elizabeth Chai Vesser-Healy. Could have botched it. I don't know. It is the story of Alex Honnold and his attempt to free solo the El Capitan, which is in Yosemite. And if you are unaware, free solo means no ropes, no safety gear, just his hands and his feet climbing 3,000 feet up a mountain. And they got it on camera. So, yeah.
And they did a documentary on it. Hence the...
So, it is... Or I guess we should say it did air on National Geographic. I think it airs one time on Sunday, March 10th on National Geographic, but then after that it's going to be on Hulu on the 14th of March. So if you didn't catch the screening on Sunday, you can just watch it on either on Hulu or catch that other screening. But I think we all recommend watching this, don't we?
Yes.
Definitely.
All right, let's just jump right on into our discussion, which, spoiler alert, he lives.
He did show up at the Oscars when they when they won.
It's a pretty good achievement. I mean, like when I was watching the whole thing, I was like, oh my God, count me out.
Yeah. They do a really good job filming everything. I mean, geez, my palms were sweaty, feet tingling. It was...
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Son of a bitch. I was really hoping he would do that jump. Like, earlier when he was on the
I think
rope,
it was too risky, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no way.
The Batman jump? Yeah, no.
If he, did that without the rope, like, goodbye.
Oh, dude, I would have.
Like, just the fact that he was, like, putting his feet into, like, these divots. Like, they weren't even, like, ledges or, like, anything. It was just, like, little divots in the rock, and he happened to get grip off of that. That's just ridiculous. Because, like, he's putting most of his weight on his foot when he was making that karate kick move.
Yeah, well, on that one, too, I'm pretty sure he had the weight on, like, half of his thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the finger strength. And, like, the forearms, like, just, oh, my God. And, like, you're climbing the whole thing, right? So, like, you don't really get much of a break, so your muscles are probably just killing.
Yeah, I like how he has that little lift station, like, in his van with his fingers.
Yeah, the hangboard. Yeah. I love how they go into the, I guess, the science of climbing, because that's one thing, like, I don't think people really think about. Like, I think people are just like, oh, these guys are really good at climbing, and they just go up. And they're like, no, they like scout out this stuff. They literally go up it like several times with like, ropes and stuff to make sure it's like easier. Or like, they have like literally it down to like every like foot of this, structure that they're climbing. Like he literally had like, okay, I put my fingers here and then I go this way, do a spin around move, put my thumb here. He had like everything mapped out, and it's like,
yeah, they even gave
precision.
Names to like certain sections of the mountain. Like this is this spot, and like they had everything all planned. I mean, you have to. Like, there's no way you would do this blind. No
I wonder
way.
if they go to that extent when you're climbing with a rope.
Probably.
I feel like you would still, but not to like that extent.
I think you would, just because like if you're gonna free solo it, then you have to
No, but if you're not
take
gonna
it
free
serious.
solo it, if like your only objective is to like climb it with a rope,
You'd still have to map it out. You have to have, because like, what if you get stuck?
I think it
in a certain
depends
spot?
on like if other people have climbed this. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure like that structure in Yosemite, like people have climbed it with ropes several times.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they have the pathway down, so like then it just gets to like how do we like best effectively use that pathway essentially. I don't think people go off the beaten path. But if they were gonna do something that no one's ever done and climb up it, then yeah, Grant, I think like they would be like super, like even with the ropes, like okay, like do we go here? You know what I mean?
yeah, just like all the climbing scenes are like insane to watch. Even when he has the rope, because like he like screws up a bunch of times. It's like, oh well, if he didn't have the rope, he's dead there.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yep.
Ugh.
Like that is
Well,
nuts.
what did you guys think of Alex Honnold himself?
Definitely
Really?
like not a very open person. Kind of.
He's a really
he's a
interesting-
dreamer, that's for sure. And he like,
He's a really interesting character.
yeah, pushes himself
I'm glad
to the limit.
that like, because that's what I was kind of worried about. It's like, okay, like the movie isn't going to be like an hour and a half of like him free soloing. So like, hopefully, like, and I guess they can't really change it if he's not that person. It's like I was hoping like he was like an interesting guy, and he was like, they have that whole thing where he gets the like MRI or like whatever it's called, like the brain scan,
Yeah.
where it basically shows like he like essentially feels no fear unless it's like something insanely stimulating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is another big reason I think why he's like so good at that. And like I really like the whole thing with like he like doesn't think he can have a relationship and like climb, like he does like kind of fuck up like when he's like climbing with her, and like pretty much every single time he goes with her he like gets hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, he
I like
definitely. Or what?
Oh, I was just saying I like that whole dynamic of like, can you climb like and have a relationship?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that I did enjoy that as well. Like seeing all the scenes where his like his girlfriend or wife, she's essentially like, you gotta like think about me when you're up there, and like if you don't think you can make a move, like I need you to like take me into consideration. He's like, I might. It's like very like he's kind of like a sociopath in a way, which I mean you probably have to be a little bit to do this, but
Yeah.
oh jeez, yeah, it had some like awkward humor like that throughout the whole thing where I'm like, this guy is nuts.
Yeah, there is some things he said that is like laughing, so it's like so like insane. I'm trying
Even
to think of him like
his approach on just life in general. He's like, people always ask me like, would I be like worried if like, I can't remember if it's his wife or his girlfriend, but if like, you know, I died, like if
Yeah,
she'd
that
go
was
move
it.
on, and he's like, yeah, like she'll find another guy, it's fine, you know, I'm not worried about that. And then it'll cut to her and she's like crying thinking about it.
Well, it's easier for women to move on, let's be honest.
It probably depends,
Yeah, it does depend.
but yeah, it's, I guess we should also talk about too the dynamic of the cameramen.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, he didn't want to like shoo away the camera crew or whatever because, you know, it's their project and whatnot, but like it also kind of affected his ability to climb too.
yeah, and a lot of them like are like friends with him like prior, and like they didn't really want to shoot it just because like if he fucking like falls and dies, like they're not gonna want to see that, let alone film it.
Yeah. Well, if he falls and dies, there's no documentary.
Yeah. Well, like that too. If one of the camera people like gets too close to him, like he could fall. Like,
but there was a couple times though, like when he was soloing it, that he would look at the camera and kind of like, you know, say something to the camera on his like way up. It happened like twice, I think. So he like knew the cameras were there.
Yeah.
I think they used like drones and stuff to like get some of the shots.
Well, they had that one camera from like real, like on the ground that was like getting some insane shots.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was, yeah. You had the ground shot, you had the shot from above, then you had the shot, like all the side shots and whatnot. But like the camera crew did great, like staying out of the way too. Like you really didn't see any of the camera crew unless it was like focused on the camera crew.
Yeah. They mapped out like where the crew was. They had several scenes and like, where do you want us? And he's like, you know, like over here, like he like, you know, had essentially spots for them to be so they wouldn't affect his, you know, climb. But the first time he actually calls it off because everyone was kind of watching him. And that's kind of why he didn't do it and he waited longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he called it off, I wonder how he got down.
Yeah, that's what I was curious about too. Is like
he didn't get too high, but I have heard you don't want to go down. Like, yeah, I heard like it's better to just go up than to go down. I mean, I don't know, but
unless something like picked him up, like
that would actually be pretty funny if he like did that free solo. Like instead of going down, he just climbed the whole thing. They like didn't say that he did because they didn't get it on camera or something.
That'd be pretty funny.
Not what happened, but. But yeah, it definitely should have got nominated for cinematography.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
100%. Like, it's a joke that you can't for documentaries. Like, if it's feature length, you should be able to get one.
Yeah.
I would agree. Especially the director, Jimmy Chin. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Meru. It's another movie. Kind of like this.
Yeah, it's on my list. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
That movie was really, really good. And he's the director of that. But
is it better than this movie?
You know, it's interesting. I would say Meru has more, I guess, to say. Because it's kind of about like three people, like, and how obsessed they are with climbing. Like the mountain called Meru. And like it just goes over, like there's a lot more, I guess, stakes in it. They don't free solo it by any means, but they're climbing this thing that's like in the snow. And so like they're constantly making stops. Like it's not like a one climb and you're done like within a day. It takes a few days, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly, but there's a lot more, I guess, dramatic. But so yeah, that'd be tough. I'd have to watch it again.
Yeah, I wonder like what he's gonna do now, like afterwards. Like if he's just gonna give up, or is he gonna find another thing to climb? Because like every single climb he makes, like he's always putting himself at risk for when he solos it. But I mean, I don't think he's gonna stop climbing. You know, that's just gonna. There was that one guy that was, you know, how old can you be until you have to like call it quits because your body just can't physically climb anymore? But like there was like people, like guys that were like 50 years old. Like some of the ones that they showed that died were like 50 years old and stuff. So just like, is that the limit? Don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy when they did like the thing where it's like everyone that's like been a big part of like paving the way for free soloing like is dead now. It's like they've all like fallen to their death.
Yeah, that was eerie.
There's like one clip where there was a guy that was free soloing it and he had like a parachute and he like fell and then he popped his parachute.
Yeah, that was insane.
I was like, wait, are they gonna show this? Like, wait, what's happening? And then the parachute, and I was like, oh, thank God, Jesus. It's like this guy is just literally like he could have hit his head on like the rock on the way down. Like anything could have happened. His parachute could have not, came out right. Like there could have been a number of errors that would have went wrong with that. I was like, holy cow! But I'm pretty sure that guy ended up dying, anyway. Because they like showed like a picture of him like later. But it's like, damn. Yeah, people like just give up their lives for this adventure, and it's like, I'm cool with just watching. I'll just take a few pictures of the mountain and call it good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what else, because with a movie like this, there really isn't like too much you can get into. Like, it's a great feat, and he's like a great like character study. But
yeah,
that's about all I got, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Definitely worth a watch. It's a good look-see at somebody's.
Yeah, it's like a really
He's going to
cool,
be in the history
feat.
books. So
yeah, he climbed 3,000 feet like with just his hands and his feet. Like, that's nuts. And they got it on camera. So like,
and he did it within like 3 hours and like I think they said 3 hours and like 54 minutes or something.
Yeah, is essentially 4 hours.
Yeah, that's pretty good though. I think he's had like that was like faster than a lot of his rope climbs that he did.
Yeah, I'd want to get.
Then again, when he was doing his rope climbs, he was probably just scouting the mountain as well as he was going up, so it probably took him longer. But yeah,
yeah, I don't know if we're ever gonna see another like thing like this, like someone free soloing, like with a camera crew, like on something of that scale. But yeah, should we go into our ratings then?
Sure.
Yeah, I guess I'll start. I gave the film an 8 out of 10.
Very nice.
Right.
Ryan?
I gave it a 9 out of 10. That was really good.
Almost as suspenseful as the movie. Yeah, God, I'm like between an 8 and a 9 right now. Oddly enough,
I was too, but I just said, you know what, 9. Definitely was a cool movie.
Yeah, I'm at. Damn it, I'm going with an 8 for now. It could go up. It's not going down. That's for sure. But yeah, should we get into what our next podcast is going to be first, or should we announce our changes?
I guess we could just announce, or like just say like the podcast real quick, what we plan on doing next.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Let's just get that out.
All right, so let's just, yeah. So we didn't upload for 2 days. And I guess that's kind of a good, like, segue, I guess. But, so yeah, when we were starting this podcast, we were thinking of ways to, like, set it apart from everything else. And, like, before we were doing it for, like, the 2 or 3 weeks, we were already watching a movie essentially every day. So we kind of just decided to call it the Movie a Day podcast and adapt, like, that format. And, like, I don't think anyone else was doing what we were doing. But, yeah, there's a reason for that. Because it started to get, like, we started to become aware of, like, how unsustainable this is going to be. Like, we were uploading, I think, an average of, like, 6.5 hours of content a week.
Yeah.
Which is, like, which is, like, too much for, like, you guys to listen to. And it's not really enough time for us to, like, work on, like, improving our podcast. And not to mention, like, our actual schedules, like, outside of the podcast, are, like, starting to get a little crazy. So, essentially, for those reasons, we are changing our format to, essentially, we're going to upload a podcast every Sunday. That's our, like, guaranteed day that we're going to have one up. And then we're going to try to get another one up at some point during the week, whenever we have time. but we're never going to upload more than 3 because I am a subscriber to the podcast myself, and I personally hated seeing notifications and videos in my sub box every day for it. But yeah, we're going to be changing our name as well, since obviously we're not going to be uploading every day. We do have like an interim like working title in mind, but it isn't like the greatest. So like I think we're just going to keep the name like for now. Like give it like a week or so of thought, and if we can't think of anything else for a name, we're just going to like change it to what I have for right now, but it's all right, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, do you guys have anything else you want to add for this?
I mean, that's about it. I would just say, yeah, we just have, I guess, too many, like all of us aren't in the same area. So we have to like constantly like try to, I guess, get our schedules in sync. And it's getting harder and harder, especially since this is like a side thing, you know, for some of us. And so yeah, bear with us as we figure out all of these things. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some weeks we might have, you know, 3 a week. And then there's going to be some that we just have 1. It's just going to depend. But we'll always have at least 1 a week. So
yeah, Sunday's our go-to.
Sunday is going to be a release day. And we'll try, like Sky said, it's just going to depend on how much free time we have throughout the week. The more free time, the more podcasts we can make and create.
Yeah. And I think we'll still be watching a decent amount of movies. It's just like actually like, and that's another reason too, like even with this podcast, and there were others too, that like we just didn't have a lot to talk about. And like, if we are doing like the everyday, like if we watch a movie and like, oh, well, we have nothing to talk about for this one, like it's kind of hard to just say, oh, let's just watch another movie. Or let's just talk about another movie.
Yeah,
so that's another big reason.
This will let us talk about, films that are
going to be a lot more selective.
Yeah, we'll have like better discussion because we're going to like, if we watch, you know, like 5 films in a week, let's say, obviously now we don't have to do all 5. We can be like, okay, these 3 we actually have some thoughts on instead of forcing it to be like, we're going to essentially talk about every movie we see.
Yeah. And I think we're still kicking around like how we're going to do recommendations, like how everything like that's going to work. But I think now that we have more time to like sort it out, I think we're going to get it within the next week or so. I would hope.
Yeah, I think we'll get everything a little bit more fine-tuned.
Yeah, we can get our channel, like the aesthetics looking good, and hopefully we can get all that sorted out pretty soon. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else that I'm forgetting. I guess we should say too, we're not going to delete any of the other videos, the Movie a Day podcasts. Those will stay up. We'll just have them. Or I guess I don't know if we're going to put them in a separate, like, I don't know what you would call it. Why can't I think of
playlist?
Playlist.
Yeah, playlist. Yeah, we might. Again, we'll have to think it over, but that's nothing for you guys. That's for us to worry about.
Yeah, just know that they're not going anywhere. So you probably haven't seen them all because we've been dropping them every day. But yeah, I think that's about it for our announcement.
Yeah. Should we get into our next
for
film?
Updates.
Yeah. So our next podcast, which is probably, I would say, gonna get uploaded on Sunday, if I had to guess, but otherwise I'll see it at some point earlier in the week. It is a 2018 foreign film. It is The Guilty, and that movie is on Hulu. And yeah, it's really good. So I would definitely recommend watching it. really short too, so if you got a little time, let's go watch it. Then you can join us on Sunday for a discussion. And this is recommended by Sky, by the way.
Yeah.
So, if you guys like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as well as leave a like and a comment. Especially now, we would love to hear your thoughts, suggestions, and recommendations, because we're really going to be changing things up over the next week or two. And to keep up with updates and other news regarding this podcast, follow our Twitter and like our Facebook page listed in the description below. Anything you guys want to add?
No, I think that's it.
Nope. Go check out Free Solo.
I agree. And on that note, see you most likely on Sunday. But if not, some other point earlier or later in the week.
See you next time.
in between now and Sunday. At some point. We'll be seeing you.